Good morning. I am so excited to do our first YouTube write-in. That's awesome. I see a couple of you in the chat already, some from Discord. Sushi. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. I am trying out new software this year, so please, please, please bear with me if I have any sort of like really weird tech issues. I used this setup on Twitch last year for the 100 hours of writing sprints, which was super fun, but also a ton of work. But I got to reuse most of it for this year, and now I'm over on YouTube doing that. So um, I can see the chat. It is delayed for me. So if you guys, I know in Facebook when we're chatting, I'm like right on those comments and responding. If you think that I'm ignoring you, I promise I'm not. It's just there's a delay when I use the streaming software and stream into YouTube, but this was kind of the best solution that I could figure out for right now. I'm going to do some more fancy things as the month progresses, and I decide to procrastinate by figuring out my streaming software. I literally remembered 2 minutes before I started streaming that last year I had music as part of my writing time screen. So this is like my we're chatting screen. And then I have a writing time screen so that if anybody pops into the write in and I'm just standing there, like, it says we're writing, so they kind of know what's going on. Um, and I realized that last year I had music to go with it, and I did not set that up this year because the program updated. I got a new computer, all of that. But for next week, I think I'm going to try and find some music for our writing sprints. Um, you can always mute it. I know some people like music just drives them nuts when they're writing. I always choose something without words because I start typing like the lyrics. For NaNoWriMo, maybe that's not bad, extra words, right? But in general, not advised to start putting someone else's lyrics in your thing there. So awesome. I'm so excited to see people showing up for this. And also, the YouTube stream will be up. I'm going to leave them up all of November, and then I'm probably going to hide them. I don't really use this channel for anything other than NaNoWriMo or private projects. So I'll leave them up for November, and then I may take them down. Maybe I won't. Maybe somebody out there wants to come write with me in the off months. I don't know. We'll see. But what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a quick 10-minute sprint. We're going for an hour this morning. I find that that's kind of the best way I can focus is for about an hour and then I need a break. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out my handy dandy NaNoWriMo pep tip calendar. And the fifth, I actually skipped it accidentally, but I'm going to go back and we're going to go to the 6th. So today is November 6th. Welcome for fall back. Let's see. On good days, you'll fly higher than a peregrine cruising for dinner. On bad days, someone will have to scrape you off the floor with a spatula. This is what writing is like. You have to write on through the highs and lows, the careens and the meditations of your stories. And that's what you're here for now, to write. That's perfect. I didn't plan that. But that is what we're here for right now is to write. And we're going to write for 10 minutes. And our prompt for our first 10-minute sprint is going to be highs and lows. Yeah, Sushi, I love this calendar. I think that it's so helpful. It always seems to say the right thing. It's like I'm not big into like horoscopes or anything, but I feel like this is like my horoscope calendar because it always like connects with me. Yesterday was a low for writing. I didn't hit word count, but I'm close. And it picks me up and it tells me, what I need to hear when I need to hear it. So, all right. So, first prompt, we're going to write for 10 minutes. I'm going to put this in the chat too. Write for 10 minutes. And the prompt is highs and lows. So give your character a really high moment or give them a low moment. See what happens. So it's always more interesting when something big is happening, a big good or a big bad. Um, let's see what that is. Now I'm gonna keep track on my phone this morning. Got our 10-minute timer set. All right, now let's write. Alrighty, that is 10 minutes. Go ahead and count up your words and let me know in the chat how many you got. Let's see. I have 269 for this time. So, not bad for me for 10 minutes. But I know I can always do better. I have been a lot slower lately than I normally am. So, um, yeah. Let's see what some of you guys have here. 459 from Betsy. Awesome. Trefoil 404. Nice. Sushi 395. Very good. That's awesome. I love seeing super high word counts. It always is amazing to me if you can get in 1 hour your word count for the day for NaNoWriMo. I think that's just fabulous because I think sometimes we build it up in our brains like, oh my gosh, I have to write 50,000 words. But with the way a lot of you guys type, like, I think you could just sit down and it's 1 hour a day. And I know for me this year, I'm super, super busy. Um, I'm usually pretty busy in November, but this year like takes the cake. I'm moving, so I have to be out of this house and into my next house by the end. And I'm currently doing renovations on the new house because we bought um not exactly a fixer upper. We're not like knocking down walls or anything, but we are pulling up floors and redoing some walls, and the whole house has to be painted. There's just a lot. And there's a lot of it that I kind of want done before we start putting furniture and things in it. Um, and so there's just a lot in my brain right now. So I was worried that I wouldn't be able to like handle NaNoWriMo. And then I sat down and I thought about it and I was like, with the way I type, I really need 90 minutes a day. And if I look at how much I stream TV, I will spend 4 hours a night. You know, I put the kids to bed and then I will sit down and turn on Netflix or Hulu and just binge till midnight. And I was like, if I replace that with writing, I can still have both. So if I sit down and I get the words out, I can still have my TV. Um, that hasn't happened the past couple of nights because I've been dragging with writing, but it's really not a huge exchange of time. And when I look at it and I go, I enjoy writing. This isn't a punishment. Like I'm doing this because I love it. Um, I think that it was a much easier switch. That and I finished watching the show I was watching. So it was one that ended and then they canceled it, but you could tell that the writers hadn't wrapped it up. And so as a writer, it was infuriating because you were just like, oh my gosh, the show just ended. And it had all of these like open storylines and they didn't finish it. And it was very upsetting. So I was like, I need to finish my book because I can't ever leave people like that. And I share my writing as I finish it, as I write it. I share it with I call her my alpha reader, my sister. She reads all of my stories kind of in the raw. She's an amazing cheerleader. And I wanted to know, does anybody else do that? Do you guys share your writing now in raw, like, typos and all? I sent my first chapter. My main character's name changed twice. And I switched from third person to first person for a paragraph and back to third person. Like, I'm talking raw. And she still reads it and she's like, oh, I love this. Like she points out what's wrong because she's smart and she sees it and then I can fix it, but she loves to read for the story. So I know a lot of people don't like to share their writing. She's like, oh heck no. Yeah, it's scary, but like my sister is my heart. Like I love her, she's my favorite person. So she gets to read it all because it's like I feel that close to her. I don't think I could share it. I don't even share it with my husband. Like he's an English teacher and there's no way. Like he does not get to look at the raw stuff. So, yeah, Betsy very rarely shares it. Yeah, Trefoil. It depends on the story. This one no. I think that's important too cuz I think that certain stories are a lot closer to ourselves and are, harder to share before they're kind of like ready for the world. So I think that's a good point too. Awesome. All right. So we're going to do another sprint. We're going to go a little bit longer this time. And this time, I wanted our sprint prompt to be based off of one of my favorite things, which is you can see my lovely Starbucks holiday cups are out. I am a big Starbucks fan. I live technically 2 blocks from a Starbucks. So this morning I woke up and we had that extra hour of sleep, and I was like, I have time to go to Starbucks before the write-in. So I went and I got my first holiday Starbucks of the year. But it made me think about holidays and traditions and cultures and things that, make our world so rich and round and beautiful. And I wanted to see if we could incorporate that into our writing. So this time we are going to we're going to do a 20-minute prompt or a 20-minute sprint. And then we are going to come back and chat about it. And so the prompt is going to be include a holiday or mention of a holiday or some sort of fun cultural piece of information. So what is something in this world? Now it could be you're writing something that is set in our real world, and they have regular holidays. It could be that you have a fantasy world. Mine is set way in the future, and so I wonder what kind of holidays survive or what evolves. I haven't really thought about it, so it's a fun thought to include in your piece. So we're going to write for 20 minutes, and the prompt is to include a mention of a holiday or cultural event. All right. So let me go ahead and set the timer. Some people know how to do like fancy on-screen timers. I am not that cool yet. I tried last year and it was this disaster that I sunk like hours into figuring out. And yeah, so not something. We're just gonna hang out with the cool iPhone timer app. I hope that works for everybody. We're trying to keep it as low tech as I can. All right, 20 minutes are on the clock. We are going to write now. We're just over halfway. We have about 8 minutes left, so keep on writing. You've got this. Alrighty, that is the end of that 20-minute sprint. All right, go ahead and count up your words. And also let me know if you included any sort of holiday or cultural event. Are you writing in the real world? Are you writing in our world? Are you writing in an alternate version of our world? Mine is in the future, but it still holds on to a lot has changed, but we still hold on to a lot of our traditions. I don't think some of them are going away. So I realized I didn't have it in this specific writing section, but I included New Year's at the beginning of my book. So it was the new year, and then we're working towards a birthday. So those are kind of the two cultural things. Sometimes you don't think about it when you're so ingrained in your own culture that something like a birthday is really, really cultural in how people celebrate it. What do you do? And as I've studied different things, I've seen how across cultures, birthdays are completely different. We're all celebrating the same type of thing, another year around the sun. But what we do as people varies so widely, even within the same culture. Not everybody celebrates a birthday the same way. And I think that that's really cool. And those are the kinds of things that can give such life to your story. So that's awesome. Let's see. I'm going to count up my words and then go see what you guys got. Um, let's see. Ooh, when I'm splitting my screen, I can't get to my word counter. 547. That was good for me. Let's see. So I had 547, and I didn't talk about a cultural thing, but I did have my birthday coming up. Let's see. 609 for Betsy. You get distracted on the longer sprints. 20 minutes is about my max. 20 minutes I usually glance at about halfway. I'm like, "Oh, is it over yet?" And then I can finish the last little bit, but going more than 20 is hard for me. Let's see. Celebrating Independence Day for another country. Awesome. 939. That's a great word count. Mine is in the future. They have their own rituals. Ooh, evil company cult. I love that. I wrote a short story once where I had like this cult initiation ritual, and that was a lot of fun to write. So that's awesome. Let's see. 1011. That's amazing. My narrator made reference to Thanksgiving dinner in her futuristic world. I know there's a lot of controversy around Thanksgiving in a lot of ways, as it should be. There's, definitely things worth talking about. But the food at Thanksgiving is my absolute favorite. Like, I don't want turkey dinners to go anywhere because I love turkey and stuffing and just all that food. Food is one of my favorite things to write about too. I think that that's so fun to just describe. I love reading a book and getting hungry. So if you have food scenes, I am all about your story. So awesome. Very cool. All right. So we looked at that. We looked at that. We are going to do one last 10-minute word sprint. And we're going to address something that I have hanging on my desk here. I'm going to bring it all down my stuff. I have these fun, really, really bright note cards. So they were just a note card. I fold it, and then I have a shelf above my desk. And so I just hang it on the shelf so that I'm looking at it while I write. One of the hardest things for me about NaNoWriMo is the pace at which you have to plot and write. I am a plotter, and I have a hard time just pantsing it and going without direction, but I generally start with a big outline. But then as you're going down, the details are hard. So I don't have those details in the big outline. I tend to build on those as we go. And so every time I start a new chapter, a kind of bullet point list of these are the things that are going to happen to achieve the goal in the chapter. And that really helps me. That's kind of a process I've come up with over the course of writing. This would be my third one if I complete it, novel. So, yeah, I wanted to be guided though by a big question. One of the things I found in writing my second novel is that when I had the focus of, excuse me, sorry, when I had the focus of knowing what my character wanted, and every scene was so much clearer. And the scenes where I was kind of like, wishy washy, those are the ones that got cut. So this time I'm trying not to waste my time writing those things by staying focused on my big question. So, my big question for this story that I want to explore is what is the value of love and vulnerability in a world that materially rewards ruthlessness and selfish ambition? So it's a hard world. What's the point of love if it only gets you hurt and it doesn't get you rewards? And that's the question I'm exploring. So every time I get stuck, I just kind of look up and I'm like, okay, that's the theme. That's what we're going for. What does that mean for my character in this scene? And using that as a guiding light is kind of helping. I've never done this before with the big question, having it right there all the time. But I'm finding that it's a good guiding light, at least to get the words out. So try different things. If they work, great. If they don't, throw them away. So let's do one last 10-minute prompt. So we're going to write for 10 minutes. And the prompt is going to be, what is the big question for your main character? Or the character that you're writing in this scene if you're doing different points of view or whatever. But what is their big question? What are they trying to figure out in life? Touch on that in some way. So we are going to set my timer to 10 minutes. It will take us just over the top of the hour, but I think that's okay. If you can't come, if you got to go, and peace out, I will see you later. But 10 minutes on our handy dandy timer. Now let's write. Alrighty, that is time. All right, we are at the top of the hour. Count up those words for the last sprint. Let me know how you did. Let's see, I got 245 that time. I came to the end of a chapter and then had to start something new, and that's always like a roadblock part for me. This chapter ended way sooner than I thought, but I couldn't seem to fit that last bullet point in, so I'm gonna work it into the next little part. So, yeah, I was looking at my big question, and at this point, it's pretty huge in my character's mind. She's looking at, you know, doing something selfless. Someone did something selfless for her, and she can't wrap her mind around it at this point because it doesn't make sense to her. So awesome. Let's see those word counts. We've got 488, 496. You all are rock stars. I'm going to put my 245 in there for posterity. Um, Man, 552, 1667 for the day. Sushi. That's amazing. You guys are great. And what a great way to start the day in the morning. Got almost all your words, or if not more. Or you're close like me. I got to go put those into the website. Remember to save your work. Email it to yourself, put it in the cloud, put it on a flash drive, put it in more than one place. Do not lose the work you did. There's nothing worse in the world. So, all right. I wanted to thank you all for coming. I will be here again next Sunday. And yeah, we also have Thursdays over in Facebook. And if anybody else wants to go ahead and do a write-in, just let me know and I can help you with any technology, or we can keep it low key. So thanks guys for writing with me, and I'll see you later. Bye.